Hi, my name is Nikki Larizek. I'm the Instructional Services Librarian at Genesee Community College, and this video is going to talk about APA citation style for journal articles. So what is there to know about citing a journal article? Well, there's a basic format, and you can see that this deals with an article that has only a single author. Obviously, many journal articles have multiple authors, in which case usually there are commas and an and symbol or an ampersand at the end before the last author. If there are more than 20 authors, there are some special rules to that, but that's very uncommon. So in the next space is the year of publication. Journal articles only care about years, not usually months and days. After that comes the title of the article. Notice that there are no quotation marks. The title of the article has only the important words capitalized, and the important words to APA are things like the first word of the title, any proper nouns in the title, and if your title breaks up into more than one piece and has a subtitle, then usually the first word of the subtitle, even if it was a smaller word like a or an or the, that would also be capitalized. Next, after the title of the article, comes the title of the source, and the source is just another way of saying the name of the journal that your article was published in. Notice that that is in italics, and in this case, we do actually tend to capitalize the majority of the words in the name of the journal. Little words still like of and the wouldn't get capitalized, but others would. Next, also in italics, comes the volume number of the journal. So it's a little weird to see a number in italics, but you keep that italics going from the title of the source through the volume number, and then sitting right on top of that volume number with no space between them, in parentheses, not in italics, comes the issue number. Now, not every journal is going to have a volume number and an issue number. Some might have one, some might have neither. The next thing, if your article has it, is an article number. There are a number of journals that have article numbers. They usually have some sort of an E and then a string of numbers, and they'll usually let you know. This tends to come in the place of page numbers in some cases, so if you have an article number, you would provide it. If you don't, that's fine. Most of them don't have it. And then lastly, if you have it, the complete page range, which means a start page and an end page. Notice there are no P's here, so we don't put a P or PP here, just the numbers. So number dash number. If you only had the starting page, you leave this out. Lastly, you end the citation, usually for most articles, with a DOI number if your article has one. Not every journal article comes with a DOI, though more and more of them do. It's becoming more common, so you want to look around and see if you have one. And if you don't have one, then you end with the stable URL or the permalink or whatever the wording is that will take you for that web address to that specific article. A little more about DOIs. They are like web addresses. They are a unique link to that article, and they can be a little tricky to find. The formatting is not always the same, and that's fine. Here are some examples of what they might look like, but there are a variety of them. However, the formatting of what it should look like when you add it to your citation is it should usually start with that https://. If not, it's fine, but if you can, put it into that kind of a formatting, that would be best. So, let's find a journal article and see how citation works for us. So here we are on the library's website, and I am going to go to our Find It search, make that a little bit bigger, and I am going to put in organic gardening, my favorite searches. And Find It search can search a lot of different places, which is nice. I'm looking for journal articles. I have a couple of ways that I could go about doing that. I could come down here to material type and I could limit to journals that way, or I could go for the gold standard of journals and come up here and use the limit to peer review journals. That is a subset, a smaller portion of all journals, and they are usually the journals that faculty like to see. So if you got a choice, go with the peer review whenever possible. And one of the articles that I like the look of is down at the bottom of this list. So here's number 10, Influence of a Rye Cover Crop on the Critical Period for Weed Control in Cotton. Sounded interesting. Now the Find It search does come with its own built-in citation tool. Most of the library databases have some kind of citation tool built into them these days. they almost all have flaws. Some have more flaws than others. But what they do all have is the majority of the information in pretty much the right order, if not perfectly done, at least fixably done. So I got all of the different styles here. I'm on APA 7th edition. That's what I'm looking for. And I can see some flaws, but I'm going to copy this. Now, I could copy the citation to the clipboard, but I have found that I have more options when I highlight it and I copy it with my mouse or with my keyboard, Control-C. And let's go paste this in a Word document. And what I like about my options are when I right-click, I have those different format options. If I do just A, it pulls out all the formatting. If I keep the original, it's kind of like a picture. I like that middle one where it's sort of a blend of styles. So here I have a citation. And I'm going to go back to where we were, because you'll notice this was something I could get to from one of the library's databases. So I'd like to show you what it looks like when I'm in a database, what a different citation tool looks like. Again, every database just about these days has their own options, so you're looking for the word cite or citation. You have to look around. They're in different places in all the different databases. So, and what's also standard is that you will get MLA, APA, and Chicago as your options, and I am again going to come over here and highlight it and copy it. I'm going to go back to my Word doc and I am going to come over here and do a merge paste. So I have two citations here for the same article. They need a little bit of work. So let's see, where do they go wrong? First off, you'll notice my authors are different between the two articles. The first one is incorrect. This is definitely not APA style. This one, last name, comma, first initial, period, and then a comma, and then, as I said, that and symbol or ampersand before the last author, who is also last name, comma, first initial, period. This is correct APA. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to replace that first one. They both do just the year, which is fine, year in parentheses followed by a period. They both have issues with the title. They have the same issues with the title. Notice how all of the important words are capitalized. This is MLA, not APA. APA, remember, important words are the first word of the title, the first word of the subtitle, and any proper nouns. We don't have any proper nouns. We don't have a subtitle. So the I is good. The I is good. But everything else after it is not so great. So what are we going to do? If you're not aware of this little tool in Word, I recommend you check it out. It's a cool tool. I can change the way things are capitalized really easily by coming in here and doing what I need to do. So they are both lowercase now, as they should be. Next comes the name of my source. Notice that Weed Science is in italics in both of them, followed by a comma. In both of them, I have the volume also in italics. You can see that 63 is slightly slanted there. And then sitting on top of that 63 without a space and in parentheses and not in italics is the issue number. So that's good. Both of them did a nice job with the page numbers, although you'll notice this one's got a slightly bigger dash than that one, but either of those would be fine. Now, the first database did give me a DOI, which looks fine, and it is linkable here. The thing to know about links: if you are submitting your paper online, links are acceptable and perfect. If you are printing a paper out and submitting it in paper copy, APA recommends that you remove the hyperlinks because they're a little messy at that point. But because you might submit this online, I'm going to leave that link in there. It's perfectly acceptable to do it for online submissions. The second one here has that retrieved information. This is only necessary as far as APA is concerned if you are citing something that might change regularly and potentially without warning. This article is not going to change. It is staying the way it is. So we do not need that retrieval information. We just need to end with the permalink, or that stable URL or web address. So this would be perfectly acceptable. And again, I can let that be a link. If I'm submitting this paper online through Blackboard or wherever I'm doing it, that would be fine. The last thing, of course, is to make it pretty. And if you're not aware of this little tool, it's important to know about it. So I can, at one fell swoop, make my spacing double, get rid of any extra spacings that don't belong, and do the hanging indent that is necessary. So I usually leave the make it look pretty to the end once all of my citations are correct. So, and then in one fell swoop, I can make everybody pretty. If you have any questions at all about creating citations or finding articles, or if you'd like someone just to look over your citations to make sure you've done a good job, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and ask a librarian through our Ask a Librarian service on the library homepage.